Walk through a history museum, and you'll see a version of the past that is polished and professional. We're taught that human progress is a steady timeline of survival, logic, and calculated action. But the marble and the dates often hide a messier reality. Human behavior has always been prone to the same irrational, impulsive, and petty drives we see in ourselves today. Two extreme examples prove this. We find it in prehistoric tribes searching for a chemical high, and in a 1960s serial killer who treated murder as a tool for personal branding. Stripping away the textbook myths reveals that the drive for ego gratification and instant gratification is a core part of our ancient makeup. Early humans are often defined by the hunt, a life of singular focus on staying alive through the next hour. However, archaeological sites indicate that our ancestors also prioritized ways to tune out their environment. They were seeking out intoxication long before they were building cities. These groups discovered fermentation early. They gathered and consumed fermented fruits to produce alcohol, establishing a tradition of chemical escape that predates modern culture. The record also shows the early use of psychoactive plants. Evidence suggests prehistoric populations were harvesting and smoking marijuana as a standard social practice. This wasn't a distraction from survival, it was a survival strategy. In an era of constant predation and freezing temperatures, a biological escape hatch helped manage the extreme psychological stress of Stone Age life. These individuals were self-medicating to endure their environment. Their coping mechanisms make the primitive past feel suddenly and strangely relatable. This pattern of seeking a distraction from reality takes a different form in the age of mass media. When physical survival is less of a daily battle, the drive for escapism often shifts into a hunt for recognition. By the late 1960s, a mysterious serial killer had turned the San Francisco Bay Area into a landscape of constant fear. This era created the myth of the Zodiac, a supposedly brilliant mastermind who toyed with law enforcement while staying one step ahead of the FBI. But his letters reveal a simpler motivation. He was an attention seeker who used violence as a way to buy front-page coverage in the local papers. To maintain the persona of a genius, he sent the authorities this 408-symbol cipher, filled with Greek letters, astrological signs, and weather symbols. This code was complex enough to stump the professional cryptographers at the FBI and the CIA. Yet the solution didn't come from a government supercomputer. It was cracked in a single weekend by a local schoolteacher and his wife. Their logic was straightforward. They assumed the killer was a narcissist. Based on that, they guessed the message would start with the word I and use the word kill repeatedly. They were right. The code fell apart because the Zodiac's need to talk about himself was his most predictable trait. The mastermind was undone by his own vanity. His desire to be the center of the story provided the very patterns that let a couple of amateurs decode his secrets. This need for credit led to a bizarre moment in television history. A man named Sam called into a live broadcast claiming to be the Zodiac, effectively hijacking the killer's public platform. The real killer was watching. He was so offended that an imposter was stealing his spotlight that he spiraled into a petty, written rage. To set the record straight, he sent a new 340-character cipher to the newspapers. Its primary purpose was simply to complain that the person on TV wasn't him. This second code was so dense it took international programmers 51 years to finally solve it in 2020. The Zodiac's most famous puzzle wasn't a strategic move, it was the result of an ego-driven tantrum. Despite his constant letters, the case was never solved. Investigators looked at 2,500 suspects, but the trail went cold, leading some modern researchers to suggest the Zodiac persona might have been a fragmented hoax. These snapshots of prehistoric escapism and 20th century narcissism challenge the idea that our past is a series of logical, calculated moves. Whether we are looking at anonymous tribes or famous criminals, a recurring theme appears. Our history is often shaped by the same basic, impulsive needs for escape and recognition that we see in the present.